Hola niños y niñas. Hey boys and girls. Today we're going to be reacting to the male loser epidemic by Shoe on Head. I like her. I like her content. I think she's a pretty based type of girl. She supports men. She doesn't hate men, but she hates feminism. So she's on our side, boys. And her husband is a lucky man because I hope to find a girl just like Shoe on Head. Go subscribe to her if you haven't. Go leave her a like on this video, and I'll make sure to link her profile in the description below. I'm just gonna react to this video and give my thoughts and opinions of what she says. Let's hop right into it.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something, but thankfully that did not happen. But at least we found out the real Epstein files were the friends we made along the way. Welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel.
That still pisses me off. How they just are just gonna forget about the Epstein list. They're just gonna pretend it never happened.
Well, if it is your first time here,
our government is fucked up.
I am Shoe on Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's
For 34,
issues.
she looks
One
good,
of the
I'm not
main
gonna lie.
men's issues I have been covering
She's
in
4 years
great
older
detail
than me.
lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
This is gonna be
Now,
a
I
good
don't
one.
always talk about men's issues. No, sometimes I talk about politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like politics. You
That's
don't care
basically
about
the
politics.
type of channel I'm
But
gonna go
politics
for.
cares about you, and it
I'll
will
talk
enter your
about
life
politics
no matter
maybe.
how hard you try to avoid it.
Well, it's
But
gonna
thankfully,
be
I have the
mostly
perfect
about
app to help you navigate
relationships,
this difficult, confusing political
helping men out,
landscape. So let's quickly give a shout out to today's
giving
sponsor,
advice to men
Ground
to be
News,
better,
before we get into
the
this
best they
video,
can
shall
be.
we? Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way to read the news from all across the political spectrum. From left,
Hopefully
right,
you
and
guys
center.
join me on
Every
this
story
journey.
comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political
I'm
bias,
surprised.
ownership,
Thank
and
you guys
headlines
for
that
watching
help
my
you
first
understand
video.
the
I
full
wasn't
story and make
expecting
sure you're getting
almost
both
60
sides.
views for my
One of
first
my
video.
favorite features from Ground News
When
has
I
to
was
be the
uploading
blind spot
gaming
feature,
videos,
which
I only
shows
had
the
like
news
3
stories that have
views,
been covered by only one side of the
2
political
views,
spectrum
1
and
view,
ignored by the
8,
other.
7.
For example, here is a story
Only one
about how the
video
CIA
got to like
uncovered
45
a
views, so
Russiagate
that's why
fraud,
I'm so
and right away we
surprised
can
that
see
my
how it
first
has
video
been covered
did
by
pretty
41
well.
sources,
Thank you
and out
guys,
of
I
those 41
appreciate it.
sources, 93%
I even got a like.
of them
Thank
lean
you for
right,
liking my
with
video.
only 2 left-wing outlets reporting the story. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see just how political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about Zohran Mamdani winning the Democratic primary in New York. This left-leaning
wonder what
outlet
kind of
says
camera she's
Zohran
using.
Mamdani's win just got a little sweeter. And meanwhile, the right-wing
Probably like
outlet
my type
says,
of camera.
meet
Or does my
Zohran
camera look
Mamdani,
better?
the man who will ruin New York. As you can see, very different vibes. I have been using Ground News since 2021 because I think it is so informative, so fun, and it helps me see how different stories are framed so differently, and I love it. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few apps that I wake up and just immediately check. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. High praise. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage
you guys
plan,
better
which is the plan I
please
use
don't
to access
end up in
all
the
of their
echo chamber.
amazing
I was
features.
in there,
This comes out to only like $5
and
a month, which is
I'm
like
glad
the
I'm
price of
out.
a coffee.
That's all I
so
gotta
go
say.
to ground.news/shoe
Because talking
or
to these
use the
people that
QR
are still in the
code
echo
right there on
chamber,
screen, or the link in the video description
crazy.
down there to subscribe
Crazy
to
as
Ground
fuck.
News today. I feel like what they're doing is really important, especially right now, and it helps us approach the news in a more fair and balanced way. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
I didn't skip.
Right? Now
promise
let's
you.
get back to the video.
I bet.
With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump, and I was correct.
Yeah, basically, I was one of those men. After seeing how Biden, I don't know what's the word, not acted, but performed. Seeing the way Biden performed in his debate against Trump, I was so flabbergasted. I was like, I can't believe I voted for this guy. I can't believe I've let myself get control to vote for this person. And it's crazy because he did not know what he was talking about half of that debate. More than half, probably. And then we had Kamala too, to back him up. She didn't even answer any questions, just moved the goalpost, avoided it completely. That's crazy.
Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan?
Yeah, bro, it's like they're trying to buy us. Like, it's simple. Just give us things that we need. Stuff that will actually make our lives easier. Like cut taxes for the working class. That's all you have to do, really. Lower costs. Maybe increase minimum wage. But the thing about that is, if you can increase minimum wage, everything else increases in price. So I don't really think that helps inflation. But stop bringing illegal immigrants that are taking American jobs. That could work too. Because then Americans will get paid more, because you don't have to pay these people under the table. People that are getting paid slave wages too, which is also messed up, that the Democrats are using slavery. But that's all I'm saying. I mean, you guys don't have to agree with me. That's just what I believe.
Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things.
That too. The Democrats just see us like some weak men that stay in their parents' house and doesn't work, gets taken care of, doesn't get any girls. Yeah, but they don't know about the struggles that this man is going through. Maybe he has a reason why he lives at his parents' house. Maybe he moved out with his girlfriend or wife and they got a divorce, or they broke up and then he had to come back. Like, there's so many reasons why people still live or are struggling to move out of their parents' house. It doesn't help, like I said, with all these illegal immigrants coming in, getting jobs that Americans can take. And then it will also increase the wages for those people that are working American citizens. But
the Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying.
Basically.
Now, as you can see here, is the young man in his natural habitat.
Yeah,
in a dark,
view us
messy
like
cave
Asmongold.
surrounded by
Democrats
Taco Bell
think we're all
wrappers and empty
Asmongold.
Mountain Dew bottles.
Shout out Asmongold.
Here is another young man, as you can see,
Or
also
Destinies.
dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately,
I'm
it
in a
also
dark cave
scares
too,
off
but I
potential
mean,
mates. But moving on,
I don't look like
here is
this.
another
Or that.
young man. We think we're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid, Maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their
Sorry about
language.
that.
I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
But the stats don't bear that out now.
Bro, that's another thing. How are men sexist, man? Like, how? This is why women. This is why men are so afraid to approach women nowadays, and then these women wonder why men don't approach them. Because we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to have to play games, or deal with the lies, or have to like argue with you. Like, it's just, that's what sucks about feminism. Women think they can just disrespect men because they act like men, and that's not how it works. We should all respect each other. You respect me, I respect you, but for some reason women just can't respect men. I don't understand why. Feminist women, I should say. I should clarify, my bad.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim.
Like
yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the
Let's see if I could
male
debunk
loser
it.
epidemic. Because who else
Before
better
she
equipped
does.
to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. Alright, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel. See? I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And you know, Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you.
See, personally, there's women that do want a stay-at-home man. I don't believe there is, but I mean, feminist women, that's all they're gonna have to be. Man, I can't talk. Feminist women, the only men feminist women can pull are feminist men that view it 50-50. And you know what happens with those relationships? The woman ends up cheating, leaving. It ends up not working, basically. She ends up leaving this beta male for another alpha male. But then the alpha male ends up leaving her because they don't want to deal with all of that baggage, all of that arguing, all of that disrespect. So what happens then? She has to settle down with a beta male again. And it's just like a continuous cycle. And like I said, there's some men that do like that. Me personally, I don't. I want to be able to provide for my family. If my wife wants to work, she can. She wouldn't have to. But if she wanted a part-time job, or if she had her own little business on the side, I wouldn't mind her doing that.
This is also a big problem when it comes to, I
But
think,
I wanna be
declining
able
birth
to
rates,
provide for
people
my
not
kids
getting
and my
married and
family.
having children. You know, that's a big problem.
that's
They blame
my-
it on
my
women.
dream, my
Well, look
goal.
at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life. Let's just get back to basics.
And like I said, sometimes the man can't help it. Maybe he lost his job. Maybe he got a divorce. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. So anything could have happened for him to be late staying at home. Maybe he can't get a job because, like I said, all these illegal immigrants that came are taking the jobs. And what are they doing? Paying them less money. And then the guy at home gets screwed over with no money, no job.
So first of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile, Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs. F you. Nice. Thanks. I love you. I love you too. Is the amount of young men living home with their parents increasing?
Are those feminists?
Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash.
I guess because at the end of the day, feminists, no matter how much they say they hate men, they want a man that's going to provide for them. They don't want a beta male. So it makes sense why they were kissing, because Republican women, as you saw, Fox News, complaining about men. They both sides blame men, Democrats, Republicans. But these women don't take accountability for their actions either. They wanted this. They wanted it to be 50-50. They wanted to be able to provide for themselves and work. And because of all of that, men wages went down. Because back in the past, when women weren't working, men were getting paid a lot more and everything cost a lot less. It wasn't inflated. But now that more people are working and these companies have to pay a lot more people, wages have to go up, and on top of that, everything else, the cost of everything else goes up with it, and then we're screwed. And that's why we're also broke. That's why all millennials are broke. I don't know about Gen Z, but yeah, it sucks. And the left doesn't seem to realize this for some reason. Like they're headed towards communism, and for some reason they don't realize it. Which is why I left the left and I voted Trump this last election.
Tommy, they're financing it.
But I consider
Come on.
myself moderate.
Get with the times.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News.
Yeah, that too. Women, average women even, that have nothing going for them, want this 1% of man. Like the billionaires, millionaires. And so that leaves everyone else, every other average looking man, it screws them over. They can't get no women. Because all these women believe they're tens and stuff. So they think they deserve the best man, but they don't. They deserve an average man just how they themselves are average women. That's another thing that irritates me. Like, women will only date a man that's fit and 6 foot tall and has money it's crazy. They want everything, but they can't even be loyal to you, or they can't even stop going out with their friends, or they can't stop talking to other men. It's crazy.
Viewer is like 70 nowadays, and you need to pander to them. But Tommy, you are like 2 years younger than me. You know this isn't true.
This is why we don't simp on this channel.
Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this like generational pick-me. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with this brain-dead boomer-ass take...
No, she's a DEI hire for sure. Because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like I said, feminism is to blame as to why men are suffering nowadays. And she only got hired because she's pretty. That's literally why. That's why she said that. She wasn't hired based on merit. She was hired based on her looks.
Not only is
DEI.
it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing house. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers. They are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers. But when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best. They are not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume, are good people. But my god, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income.
Yeah.
A single income...
Like, they were getting paid $6, $5, $7, maybe max 10. And they bought a house with that. They bought cars with that. They bought food. And it was just a man working. It wasn't the wife too. And they were happy. And now we can't do that anymore. We're getting $20, $30 and it's still not enough. That's crazy.
From a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders...
And even when you get married, if you get married to a girl that's making like average 2, let's say you both are making average incomes, that's about not even 90,000 between the two. That's a little bit of money. That's why I need to be the best version of myself before I get married and have kids, because
didn't prostitute away
hard
their
out
economic
there.
future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place for my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children. Not happening.
Well, look at what
Basically,
young women
that's why we
have
have a
to
lot of
choose from.
crazy,
The pickings are
dirty old
slim.
single moms
Yes, we might have a feminism problem
with
in
cats.
America, but it's the feminization of men.
tattoos
Young
and
men
nose
are becoming
piercings.
lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women? What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something
That's true,
happening,
too.
but men are moving right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so maybe. But
That's
here's the
cringe.
thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the...
Yeah, she has a point, because women initiate divorce more often than men do. Women are unhappy in marriages. Women just want to go out there. They care about their careers more than they do about having kids. They want to be able to travel. They want to go and get a train ran on. They want to be for the streets, basically, until they're old and ready to settle down. But then no man wants them because of all the baggage that they went through. So it's just bad.
data says the exact f***ing opposite. According to Pew Research,
So men really want kids more than women do. I want kids, but I know how hard it is to find the right woman.
64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance. But among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again, they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But
yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, these women are so, like she said, manipulated. They're like being controlled by the media to believe that being a mom, stay-at-home mom, is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. But when they have that kid, their views completely change, and they regret not being a mom a lot sooner, because then they just end up being single moms because of all the baggage. They're probably all masculine, so the dad ends up leaving instead of just becoming a mom and not having to go through school and getting ran through and focusing on a career and spending all your years of life away. It's just a lot.
yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this.
Yeah, I blame the government for pushing this feminist propaganda and this communism propaganda, and just everything that they push. The left is destroying this country.
But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is gonna be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville.
That's another thing. If a man isn't staying with you, if they're not taking you seriously, look in the mirror, because it's most likely you that's the problem. Because men give relationships, women give sex. So if a man is not giving you a relationship, you're probably crazy.
Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a
they don't.
Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
I think
I've seen
men
some
between the
pretty-ass
ages of
fast food
20 and
workers
30
that
are not ready,
I would've talked
in
to.
most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
So let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also, young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more. She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly.
Yeah, I think a woman should be submissive. The moment the woman is in the relationship with the man, she should already know what to do. That's how you know that's a good woman, and that's how you know that's a woman that you should probably marry. Because if she does everything that you want of her without having to tell her, oh, she's a 10 for sure. You gotta keep her. You gotta keep her for real. Lock her in. Don't let anyone take her from you.
Man, a protector and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video, because I am really interested to see what, like, the typical Fox News viewer thinks about this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93 and they have 0 children between both of them.
Yep.
You both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to
Like I said, men just want peace because we're already going through a lot as it is. Like we have to literally we have to be fit. We have to be good looking. We have to be clean. We have to have a good job. We have to have a personality. All of that is a lot of stress just to maintain all of that. We need to provide. We need to give women attention. Like we need to learn we gotta know how to flirt. There's so many things we gotta do, and then the women just they don't want to give us our peace. They just want to argue. They don't want to cook. They don't want to respect us. They want to go out with their friends. They want to have guy friends. That's crazy. This is why men are the prize.
My God.
Because women can just get any man they want. But men decide who they want to marry because they're the ones that worked for everything that they have. Women don't. Women are just waiting for the prize.
Goodness, boomers are ruthless. Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes, we know you people can't relate.
Yeah.
We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my son stay home.
That's what I'm saying.
trying to push them
Like
out
the
of the
economy.
nest. Okay, I really gotta ask.
It's been
Is this
inflated
an
so
Anglo
much.
thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old? My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this.
Like
And honestly,
nowadays,
why the
people
fuck would a
can't
man
afford to
home,
leave at
leave his
18.
mother's cooking for a woman who probably can't cook. Not me
Yeah,
though.
true.
Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals. I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
And maybe they want to stay home because they want to save their money. Maybe they're in school. Maybe, like I said, they want to save their money so that they can buy their own house eventually. Like they're in no rush to leave. Like if they buy a house, they're gonna buy the house for themselves, not for the woman. It's common sense. If the woman doesn't want to take him seriously because he's living with his mom, then that's on her too. She lost a good man. Her loss. That's a mentality I have when girls don't want to talk to me. Her loss.
Now, unfortunately, Tommy
'Cause I
Lauren
know
wasn't
I'm a
the
good
only
person.
one pushing this stupid, lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream.
That's another thing. I hate when people complain about men playing video games, but the boomers spend their whole day watching TV. What is the difference? You're wasting time regardless. Both activities waste time. One is just you're interacting with it. You're actually immersed into a different world. And maybe that's what men need to get away from all the stress that we deal with every day. But these people don't understand that because they're old.
Job for young men.
And they don't understand that times change.
It's a phrase that's taken off since
And that video
27-year-old
games
Brendan
is just
Leo
hobby.
won $59,000
If you're
on
playing all
Jeopardy.
day,
He has a
that's
master's
different.
degree in political
That's
science.
bad.
But
If
he's
you're pushing
unemployed.
away your
Grow up,
responsibilities,
get a job,
but if you're
get a
playing at
wife,
night
build
for
a
like
family.
Just get a
hour
wife,
or two
bro.
just to
Just
relax,
get a job, bro.
that's different.
Yeah, just get a job. Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into jobland where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out of fashion with Republicans because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox News will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor.
Yeah.
Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little
Basically what
worker
I said
drones who
earlier.
won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders? No, that's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it
Anybody can,
would make a
excuse
lot
me.
of global poor richer.
That's the shit that pisses a lot of people off. That the left is helping these illegal immigrants, giving them money, our tax money, but they're screwing us, citizens, up. They're screwing us bad.
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many, many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15...
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm against H-1B visas because I get they're trying to get the smartest people from all these different countries, but the real thing is you're paying an American citizen $40. You could get a smart Indian person and pay them half of that, $20. They're not gonna know, bro. This is messed up. The rich are just doing this so that they can get richer, so that they won't have to pay American citizens a full wage.
15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year, he told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend." So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's yourself in the face.
Yeah, I say deport all of them.
Interesting. There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just like don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement, ordering DoorDash and playing video games. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper.
Yeah.
Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people
It's
taking
the company
your jobs.
owners that...
It's the women, too.
It's
Many
the
of the
company
dying
owners
industries
that
are
are
male-dominated,
to
while
blame
many
for
of
it.
the growing industries are female-dominated. And stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce. And they're more...
And I think that companies that hire these illegal immigrants should go to prison, and that'll teach other companies not to do the same thing.
flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher paying, higher position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about $1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world.
That's why I'd rather be single, because I cannot stand a woman that makes more than me. I just can't. It makes me feel weird, and they just don't respect you, honestly. They'll say that they do, But no,
American women have never
they
been
don't.
this
They
resigned
really
to staying
don't.
single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation,
A woman
and
that
beliefs
makes
about what
money
family
will
should
always
look
want
like.
to
More women
date
than men
someone
are
that makes
attending
more than
college,
her.
buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all, they can do anything, they can be anything.
Yeah, but they still complain that they're oppressed and don't have any rights.
While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And
That's what
women,
Leia
though
says.
strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money. Hello class,
Basically.
I am Miss On Head. I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased
feminism
while
started,
compensation
that's when it
barely
all
grew
went
over
down.
the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up
When
until
women were able to start working and vote, that's when everything started going downhill.
around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class? Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate. Income going to the 1% rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around this time, but we don't have to get into that today.
Yep.
The
Told
fact
you.
is, hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options.
I got a mouse on my shirt.
Revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing
Shout out
escapism.
Tom and Jerry.
Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried, and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never-before-seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zoran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed
like I said,
Democratic
communism.
socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system, and they want to burn it down and start again. They
I
want
agree.
something that works for them, because this is not working for them.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with four-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Huh. Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire
He's right.
generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under
Like, we
the
already
age of 60
hear it
watches
from the
Fox
left
News,
enough as
so
it
this
is.
is
We
not
don't need
really
to
going
hear
to
it
have
from
an
the
effect
right
on
too.
young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it, unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second.
I just want the government to release
so that was that video.
list.
What do you think of the male
But they won't.
loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy Lauren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably
Like I
reading
said,
them right now as you
it
type
is
them.
all men's
Great,
fault.
Don't write that. No. You can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to me on Patreon or leave a little tip with a little tip jar down below, or give it a little heart. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video, a new slop video, because I know you gremlins love that shit. Bye!
But yeah, like I was saying. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. So like what I was saying, I don't blame females or males. I don't blame women or men. I mean, there's some men that are lazy. There's some men that do want to be taken care of and want a wife that's gonna be like their mom. Like I said, personally, that's not me. And then you do have your feminists that just hate all men. And apparently Republican women too that hate all men. So it's their fault too. But in the end, it's all tied to the government because they're pushing this feminist propaganda. This you should be 50-50 with a female. They pushed the workforce on the women, and that just collapsed everything for men basically. And now we're all broke because there's a lot of people working now instead of just men like it was back in the past. But that is all for today. Remember to subscribe to Shul on Head. Leave a like on her video. I recommend her content if you're into politics and stuff. And like I said, she supports men. Great girl. I wish I could find a woman like her. And that's it. Everyone, take care, have a good night, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.